Welcome everybody and Merry Christmas. It's great to see you. And thank you, Santa, for all the hugs and kisses outside. Who's being naughty or nice? Just give us a list of who'd be naughty. We're not interested in the nice people tonight. Welcome to our 35th celebration of caring. And my name is Jim Bennett. We've met several times before, and it's my honor and privilege to be your MC tonight. First of all, I think we should honor the Director of Technical Design, Nygaard Fashions, who is 71 years young yesterday. Renee Law, stand up, please. And yes, it is true, we are having an affair. We have over 600 guests here this evening. And we are in a sold-out position. As a result, we couldn't fit anybody else in. And there's 281 people in the Nygaard Cafe at Inkster, and we are beaming this in through the Nygaard Fashion Network satellite. So say hi to everybody because they're in the Nygaard Cafe. Hello. It's a beautiful time of year. And as usual, we do have a custom for all those new people. You're going to find out in 1 second. I want you to stand up, hug, kiss, wish everyone a Merry Christmas to at least 5 people around you. The Nygaard welcome. Come on, everybody on their feet. Get to know one another.
Okay, and you're going to hug people. You have to shake hands.
35 years of caring. I thought I was interpreting it properly about an hour ago when Jack Storer, one of our sales and marketing people, was coughing pretty heavily and not feeling great today. I said, look, Jack, you're not well, you've got to look after yourself. I don't want you being a hero and showing up to these meetings and this social event. You're not feeling well, get into the hotel and get some rest tonight. 2 minutes later, I get a call from Rick Wanzel. What the hell did you say to Jack Storer? I said, Rick, all I said was, he's not well, get into bed. What did he say? He said, you were pissed off with him because he was sick and you told him to go home. That's not what 35 years of caring is all about. And the other thing I resent, to a certain extent, people have told me lately that I'm a little edgy, a little grumpy, grouchy. Yes, I am. And you know why? Just because. But there is this true story that I want to tell you that it happened to a chap by the name of Dan. Dan, if you can picture this, at age 85, is sitting on the curb crying his eyes out. The policeman comes along and says, "Sir, what's wrong?" And Dan says, "You know, it's my second marriage. I married a younger woman, she's 68 years old, and she's fabulous, and he starts crying again. I said, amazing, a younger woman, wow, so that sounds pretty good. What's wrong? Not only that, she's a spectacular companion. She's a fabulous companion. We talk, we have movies together, and he starts crying again. I says, wait a minute. That sounds like another positive. Well, he said it's not over yet. She's a fabulous cook. We have a sensational, intimate relationship. And the cop said, you know what, you're starting to drive me nuts. You married a younger woman. She's a great conversationalist. You have a great intimate relationship. She's a fabulous cook. What the hell is wrong with you? I can't remember where I live. So, Dan, there you go, buddy. I want to thank the Military Air Command Band, Rhythm and Blue Jazz Band, who just came off the parade ground, and they are going to be entertaining us a little later as well. We have some very special guests, some returning guests, which is wonderful. Bonnie Korzenowski, member of the Manitoba Legislative Assembly and represents the constituency of St. James. So, Bonnie, if you welcome and stand up, please, as I introduce these people. Hugh Eliasson and his wife Eileen, welcome. It's lovely to see you. Hugh has held various Manitoba governmental positions and was appointed in 1999 to his current position as Deputy Minister of Industry, Economic and Development and Mines. So welcome, Hugh and Eileen. Thank you. Colonel Gary Solar and his lovely wife Linda. Colonel Solar is a member of the Royal Military Institute, and these members nominated and presented Mr. Nygaard with the Patriot Award in May of 2002. Just a reminder, Mr. Nygaard was the first civilian ever to be awarded this prestigious award for a stand against terrorism and support of Canada's military and allies. I might also say, I'm a little disappointed in you, Colonel. A year and a half ago when we met for the first time, you said this was the first fashion show you had ever seen. I now understand that on the side you're doing fashion shows for the Royal Military. Now that's like us showing our collection and it ends up in private label somewhere. So welcome Gary and Linda. Karen Brick and her husband Michael. Karen is a senior protocol officer with the Government of Manitoba. She is a much valued resource for us and Nygaard assisting us with invaluable protocol answers. Just in terms of protocol, for example, Karen could not attend our April event because she was having tea with the Queen at Buckingham Palace. Can you imagine her turning us down? So she canceled Elizabeth for tonight, and she's here with us. So welcome, Karen and Michael. Nice to have you. This next group is a very prestigious group. Dr. Jim Davey is the Provincial Director of Research, Cancer Care Manitoba. And the Director, Margaret Sellers, Chair of the Manitoba Institute of Cell Biology. So, Dr. Jim Davey, we welcome you. Dr. Peter Hamilton Watson and his wife, Rachel. Dr. Watson is Professor, Department of Pathology, Faculty of Medicine, University of Manitoba. And Dr. Watson's clinical practice focuses on diagnostic breast pathology within the section of anatomic pathology. and he is presently involved in the development of the Nygaard International Manitoba Breast Cancer Tumor Bank, which you're going to hear about later. So welcome to you both. Dr. Lee Murphy, Professor, Department of Biochemistry and Medical Genetics. He's a senior scientist at the Manitoba Institute of Cell Biology at the University of Manitoba. And Dr. Murphy is interested in how estrogen and anti-estrogen affects breast cancer and molecule mechanisms. Dr. Murphy. Just before I continue, and you're going to be meeting a couple of other doctors later on in a more formal way when we make our check presentations. These doctors have committed their lives to diagnosing, treating, and finding cures for cancer. I encourage all our associates to spend some time talking to these wonderful people. And I encourage these wonderful doctors to mix with our associates and talk about the incredible work you're doing. Congratulations. Barry McCartan. Barry is the Executive Director of Cancer Care Manitoba. Nygaard has long been involved in breast cancer fundraising initiatives and indeed has partnered with Cancer Care on many occasions, the latest of which we will be announcing this evening. So welcome again, Barry. You've been with us at other events. Two wonderful ladies, Carol Dundas and Michelle Swift. These two volunteers extraordinaire coordinate the 5,000 people that run in the Winnipeg portion of the CBCF Run for the Cure, and they work very closely with our Nygaard team. It's lovely having you ladies back with us again. I'd like to welcome back George Richardson and his wife Tanis. George is the Honorary Chairman and Director Emeritus of James Richardson and Sons and the first Canadian Governor of the Hudson Bay Company. He's also a longtime friend of Mr. Nygaard, so it's lovely seeing you both again. Albert Cohen and Irina Cohen. Albert is President, CEO, and Chairman of the Giant Gendis Inc. Corporation and is active in retail merchandising and real estate investment and management. So welcome to you. Lovely to see you. John Silver and Jay Thibodeau Silver. John is the Executive Director of the Manitoba Fashion Institute. Our company is intertwined with this institute as Mr. Nygaard was its founder back in 1968. So welcome, John and Jay. Thank you. Ernie Nairn, an old friend, Director of Corporate and Media Relations at Assiniboine Downs. And the people at the Downs partner with Nygaard every spring to present an always sold-out fashion show. And all proceeds go to breast cancer research. So it's lovely having you with us as well, Ernie. We have a group of customers, fabulous customers. Thank you for coming. From Sears, we have key management people here from Polo Park, Kildonan, and St. Vital. So if all of you could stand up and be recognized. Lovely having our customers. From the Bay, the Rowdy Group. From downtown, Polo Park, and St. Vital, would all the Bay people please stand up? And if you couldn't see them, at least you could hear them. From Charles Wood Department Store, Ike and Marlene Kraut, These people have been buying Tangay every season for over 40 years, so welcome to you both. And from Dimensions, Anna Marie Daska and Myrna Downey, welcome. We also have, and thank you for coming out, many of our vendors and suppliers. We appreciate your presence. And from the media, thank you for coming out. And all the way from Finland, Rita Lindegren, senior editor of Finland's largest magazine called Gloria, which is the Finnish version of Vogue. So it's great you came all that way from Finland. And from media here in Winnipeg, CJOB, CTV, and Winnipeg Women's Magazine. Thank you for coming out. This evening, the agenda. You will see presentations of checks in support of breast cancer research to find a cure. We're also going to be recognizing long service associates. And we will have tennis awards. We're also going to show you a fabulous fashion show featuring our spring and summer collections from 2004. And there's a special group of ladies, a very special group of ladies who we will see in this fashion show. They're called Chemo Savvy. And these are some very courageous breast cancer survivors. And they are members of Manitoba's Chemo Savvy Dragon Boat team. In 2003, this team competed in 7 races nationally and internationally. And they want you to take the evil out of the word cancer and give others with the disease a sense of hope, that they too can lead an active life. Truly fabulous ladies, and they're behind the stage. We have a great dinner for you tonight, buffet style. The Military Air Command Band will play during dinner. And unfortunately, we will have the appearance of the PDC Boys Choir. This is an embarrassment to the total company. They are the worst group of people ever to perform publicly. Quite frankly, they sound like a bunch of wounded bulls. So if you have to go to the washroom or you have to have whatever it is you have to do, as soon as they come on stage, feel free to leave because they are not going to be enjoyable. After dinner, we will be dancing. At 12 o'clock, the party ends. So get your butts to the hotel. The buses leave at 7:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Because we have a full day of exciting merchandising to go through tomorrow. You know, it's been quite a year celebrating 35 years of success. In December 2002, there were 60 pages as a tribute to Peter Nygard in Women's Wear Daily, the biggest single women's publication in America out of New York. Then our first major event was in April, celebrating 35 years of business success. It was wonderful, with prominent guests, members of Peter's family, Nygard Associates, paying tribute to Peter. The list of those participants and contributors included Prime Minister Chrétien, Premier Gary Doer, Bob De Niro, not Robert, Bob. All the best, Peter. Love Bob. Ted Rogers, Pearl McGonigal, Bill Dillard, Phil Miller of Saks, my favorite, Bo Derek, Mrs. Nygaard, Peter's kids, and many others. It was a fabulous evening. The second event was also great. It was in May and became known as the $1 Million Club. That's what I'm wearing. See this? Anybody you see with this was presented with a $10,000 check to anybody with 20 years of service or more, regardless of position in the company, as Peter's personal thank you for service and loyalty and their commitment to the company. And what I'm suggesting to the Bay and Sears, you go back to your management and say, look, this is what Nygaard did. Yeah, the next thing that happens, you guys start asking for more markup. The third event was in August. And Peter wanted an evening exclusively devoted to Nygaard associates and their families. Again, a fabulous evening, and it was great seeing so many husbands, wives, and children of our associates. The spectacular event in the fourth line was in New York a couple of weeks ago, and was the launch of our USA advertising campaign in Times Square, New York. The Nygaard name and all our brands and key customers were electronically featured on the world's largest electronic sign, 22 stories high in the heart of Times Square. It was a showstopper and was particularly special for a little guy from Deloraine. 17 million people so far have seen that sign, and the campaign will continue throughout 2004. We have supported many charities and worthy causes over our 35-year history, and some will be specially highlighted in our fashion show tonight. But this evening, we celebrate 35 years of caring by focusing on two charities of our choice: Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation and Cancer Care Manitoba. Although charities and causes are spearheaded by Mr. Nygaard personally, our ability to give is in direct proportion to the efforts of all our associates worldwide who contribute every day to making us profitable, thus enabling us to give these great gifts. So you're all to be congratulated, all you Nygaard associates. Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation. This organization raises funds for breast cancer research. Each year, over 160,000 Canadians participate in their annual Run for the Cure, raising over $17 million annually. Nygaard is a proud gold sponsor, donating t-shirts to all the runners. And this year, we introduced our Pink Survivor t-shirt, worn proudly by thousands of breast cancer survivors. The run is promoted in all Nygaard stores and offices across the country, and hundreds of Nygaard associates take part in the actual run. I would now like to call Jay Hooper, National Funds Director, Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation, and Peter Nygaard to the stage for the presentation of the $650,000 check.
Peter, thank you. Words can't adequately express our gratitude for a contribution of that size. It's such an honor for me to be a part of this celebration and to represent the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation to receive this extraordinary gift at NYGARD's $1 Million Night. Let me also say how delighted I am to be sharing this privilege with the representatives of Cancer Care Manitoba. As every one of us knows, NYGARD has a proud history as Canada's largest fashion house and is a pioneer in the North American fashion industry. And as you also know, that the company's 35 years of caring has earned it an exemplary reputation as a philanthropic leader. What you may not know is how NYGARD's support of the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation expands our ability to fund the complete continuum of breast cancer care from prevention to palliation. Peter, your generosity and the energetic efforts of your staff and associates drive the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation's ability to support and advocate for Canada's finest and most promising breast cancer research, services, and programs in awareness and education, early detection, diagnosis, treatment, and quality of life. We applaud the leadership that you demonstrate. Your commitment inspires other individuals and corporations from coast to coast across Canada to give 110% to enhance the lives of the people you serve in a most direct and relevant way, and to put the concept of caring into meaningful action. You strengthen us in so many ways. As a national run sponsor since 2001, NYGARD has donated t-shirts for all of our CIBC Run for the Cure participants and volunteers across Canada, which, including this year, totals 410,000 t-shirts. This year, NYGARD took that outstanding contribution a giant step further, providing a special commemorative pink t-shirt exclusively for breast cancer survivors. The 15,000 survivor t-shirts, triumphantly worn in 39 run sites across the country this past October, dramatically demonstrated just how many women are affected by breast cancer in Canada and presented a powerful picture of survival. As Canada's leading volunteer organization dedicated to the fight against breast cancer, the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation is committed to realizing our full national reach. We are working to build and strengthen our relationships across Canada and maximize the potential of chapter development in every province, including Manitoba. We are currently working with a group of dedicated volunteers here in Winnipeg to make a Manitoba chapter of the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation a reality in 2004. Winnipeg holds a special spot in the Foundation's heart as the thriving run site with outstanding volunteer leadership. The first Run for the Cure in Winnipeg was in 1994, attracting an amazing 600 participants. This year, with the extraordinary volunteer leadership of two run directors, Carol Dundas and Michelle Swift, the Winnipeg Run had 6,500 run participants and raised $571,000. With your support, the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation continues to make a strong and significant financial commitment to the Canadian Breast Cancer Research Alliance. Since its inception, the Alliance has funded this country's leading breast cancer research in all areas, from epidemiology to environmental causes, from primary prevention to lifestyle risk management, from technological advances in diagnostic screening to the relationship between genetic alterations and treatment. We are also able to provide funding support with the help of our corporate partners, like NYGARD, to the Canadian Breast Cancer Network, a survivor-directed national network of organizations and individuals that gives voice to the concerns of all Canadians affected by breast cancer and those at risk. There is much we have to celebrate, and many reasons to be encouraged when we look at the distance that we've traveled since NYGARD became a national sponsor of the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation. Knowing that we will continue to make the journey together with NYGARD as our partner illuminates the path and will shorten the road to a cure. You are truly our partners in creating a future without breast cancer. On behalf of the 21,000 women and 140 men who will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year in Canada, on behalf of the entire team of volunteers and staff who give their all to the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation, I would like to thank you, Peter, and offer heartfelt congratulations to you and your exceptional team on NYGARD International's 35 years of caring. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jay. The next check for $400,000 is being presented to Cancer Care Manitoba for the NYGARD International Manitoba Breast Cancer Tumor Bank. This major sponsorship entails funding for a new breast cancer tumor bank. And not only does it fund the building of the space, operations and equipment, it provides an endowment fund to allow researchers from Canada and all around the world a place to come and work together to find a cure for this awful disease. The new NYGARD International Manitoba Breast Cancer Tumor Bank will provide a much-needed cornerstone for breast cancer research. The President and CEO of Cancer Care Manitoba is Dr. Dali Dhaliwal. And while I sort of give a little summary of your background, Dr. Dhaliwal, if you could make yourself to the stage, I'd appreciate it. Dr. Dhaliwal completed medical school at the University of Birmingham in England in 1972. He trained in oncology at St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Come on up, Doctor, while I'm talking about you. You can stand right beside me. It's a pleasure having you. I'm going to be talking about completed a research fellowship at the Institute Cancer Research in London, England, and was elected Fellow of the Royal College of Physicians in the UK for his contributions to medicine. He then ultimately came to Thunder Bay as Regional Cancer Center Director, became head of Department of Medical Oncology in 1991. Dr. Dhaliwal is well known as a first-class administrator and oncologist. He is a leader in cancer care, and I now would like to invite Peter Nygard back on the stage for the presentation of the $400,000 check.
Mr. Nygard, honored guests, associates, $1 million night. To be part of it is a tremendous privilege. I will not repeat the importance of your contributions that we have heard, but I want to emphasize that it is through efforts of community support, the exemplary support that you have demonstrated, along with your colleagues, that gives heart to researchers, scientists, clinicians, to try and combat this disease. A disease on this glittering night that I don't really want to go into details to, because I have seen over 30 years of practice too many families, too many souls damaged. And it is this type of support that keeps the researchers toiling, and the knowledge that their efforts may one day translate into making this disease history. Cancer in general, unfortunately, is increasing in our society to the point where it is becoming the #1 health problem in Canada. That's due to a complex mixture of aging population and the fact that we are living much longer. And it is a disease of somewhat older stage, but it respects no age, and it respects no one. Kings, queens, princes, commoners, everyone have been affected. And in Canada, the lifetime risk is now 1 in 3. So all of us know of friends, relatives who have been touched by this disease. And Cancer Care Manitoba, as a provincial agency, has been fighting many aspects of this disease for the past 50 years. You have supported this organization in multiple ways. The fact that Breast Cancer Foundation has received a substantial sum of money, an outstanding sum of money, will translate in indirect ways to supporting care as well as research here in Manitoba and right across Canada. But Cancer Care Manitoba's focus is here on Manitobans. And it's an agency that's committed to controlling cancer at all aspects and the spectrum of this disease. How will this help? I am delighted to join a team, a talented team that is respected nationally. Physicians like Dr. Watson, researchers like Dr. Davey, Dr. Murphy, and many, many more, who have developed an outstanding team that is focusing on multiple pathways to looking at how to attack this disease. A tissue bank that stores both normal tissue as well as breast tissue will allow what we call many techniques of molecular biology and the revolution that is occurring in trying to find pathways of how does this disease arise, how can we diagnose it earlier, how can we treat it better so that it does not damage the families, the friends that we all know that this disease touches. And this is a bank that is already building into one of the biggest resources that the researchers can call upon and develop techniques for testing early diagnosis, newer treatments, ways of blocking the abnormal cell so that we develop techniques that attack the cell, the abnormal cell, and leave the normal cells untouched, and therefore develop non-toxic ways of controlling this disease. So, without more ado, I want to thank you on behalf of Cancer Care Manitoba. Thank you on behalf of hundreds of workers throughout Manitoba, volunteers that raise funds. The Cancer Care Manitoba Foundation has hundreds of volunteers who continue to toil and devote their free time in an effort to raise funds to allow clinicians and researchers, nurses, scientists to work to defeat this disease. And trust me, believe me, we will defeat this disease. There is no other way. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. It would be inappropriate to close our 35 years of celebration and introduce the dawn of another 35 years without calling on the founder and chairman of Nygaard International to say a few words. But before he does, I'd like to say, Peter, that I talked to some of our associates, some of our business associates, some of your friends, your family, and I asked them to sort of summarize for me what they thought of you. So here is, in 17 words or less, the thinking. Father, son, architect, visionary, designer, entrepreneur, advocate, patriot, champion, founder, intellectual, mogul, challenger, leader, mentor, coach, and friend. Ladies and gentlemen, founder and chairman of the board, Peter J. Nygaard.
Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. And thank you for sharing this wonderful 35 years. Indeed, it has been the greatest year of my life. And indeed, it has been a wonderful year of tribute, and I feel actually very humbled by it. Perhaps the greatest measurement of success is indeed what's happening here tonight. Perhaps the greatest measurement of success is to be able to have a $1 million night, to be able to donate and share some of the success with worthy causes and worthy people and family. We've been fortunate this year to be able to do that not only once tonight, but also last May when we were able to have another $1 million night and share some of this success with some very deserving people, our associates. I must tell you this story at the risk of half of you or more hearing it already. I was born in Finland and we lived in Delray, and as you all know, we came from a very poor beginning. Very, very poor indeed, and we were very hungry. Surely the story has a lot to do with this issue of sharing what goes into a person's brain at a certain young age. My best friend was a young Chinese boy. He was my best friend because his father and mother had a Chinese restaurant. And I was always very anxious to stay friends with him, so perhaps I'd go in and smell a little bit of that Chinese food. It was a Chinese restaurant. It was one of those old-fashioned Chinese restaurants that had the chicken hanging from the windows and not so very pretty by today's standards, but in that day, in that moment, it was the most beautiful restaurant that I had ever seen. And I would go in that restaurant and I could just smell that food. It was the most beautiful smell that I've ever had. And the Chinese boy would take me back to the back room, and I could smell some more food over there. And I particularly remember seeing a toaster, and he had sauce or 2 pieces of toast, and he would put 2 toasts in there. And I could still see him putting those 2 pieces of toast in there. And my mouth would be watering. And it would smell so good. And those toasts, I just smell that toast cooking away in there. And there's drawn butter beside the toaster. And that toast would pop up. And now came the exciting moment. He would take one of those toasts and he would butter one of them. And he would then proceed to eat it. My mouth would be wondering, I could hardly wait for my toast. He'd take the other one, butter it, and he ate that too. He ate my toast. And my mouth would, I didn't want to ask him for anything. I always remember about that point about not sharing. And I promised myself right there, if I ever get a chance, I would always share that other toast. This is what it's all about. I'm so very, very pleased that a night like this, to be able to share with the breast cancer caring people, and to be able to share with my associates, to be able to share that other piece of toast. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I I'd now like to call on another friend, Dennis Lapointe, President and CEO of Nygaard Moderate, to present some long service awards. So welcome, Dennis.
My first challenge is to be as eloquent as Jim Minnitt, but I already came with glasses, so I'm going to put them on. It's half of it. We've had the good fortune as Nygaard of having many celebrations, many successes. And you've heard from Mr. Nygaard on through Jim and many of us, one of our proudest successes is our people. We wouldn't have been able to do it without people. I'm fortunate tonight to recognize, on behalf of all of us at Nygaard, 3 very special people. I think you could include them as many of the people behind the scenes at Nygaard, who I think would be fair to say that we could call them unsung heroes. You know, when they're not really up here on the stage, they don't have a great deal of visibility, but they're the ones who make it happen. They're the ones who allow us to have an evening like tonight's, a great fashion show. Each of the 3 recipients have been with Nygaard now for 25 years. First person, Mariana Dronsky. Please come up. Mariana started with us at our original downtown Adelaide plant in '78 in our sewing section, and later into the pressing department. Mariana then transferred to our Easter facility when it was finished construction in May '93. Then to our church facility in December 2000. Currently, they're still in our pressing area. Mariana thought of retiring in February '03, but her dedication and love for her work made her decide to continue. She was just having too much fun, I understand. We hope to see Mariana here again for the 35th anniversary. She says yes. Mariana is married to Kazimar. They have 2 children, Iona, Ronald, and 4 great-grandchildren. Miroza, Catherine, Gavin, and Yolanda. Some of her favorite pastimes are shopping. I'm sure they're all put stores for Mariana. And I understand she loves to dance, so we could look forward to the dancing later, right? Yeah. Congratulations and thank you. Lydia Angela. Lydia, would you please come up? Lydia must be part of the fashion show here. Looks like $1 million. Lydia started at also our Adelaide plant in our sewing area. July '78. Went right from there to our church facility in '97. She's one of our top producing special operators and an expert with specialized equipment. One of our top producers. Lydia and Manuel have 3 children, Julianne, Adrian, and Earl. Adrian is your date tonight? Great. Lydia loves spending time with her family. They have a cottage. She loves to garden. And still is an avid swimmer. Congratulations and thank you, Lydia. Our last recipient, now this is a character, Vidal Mazirago. Vidal. This is especially kind for me. Actually, I think Vidal started with just soon after I joined the company, actually. At our Notre Dame plant. Remember that? He does say only nice things. Anyone who was working with Vidal when he started us in the mid-70s would have seen Vidal early in the morning, especially in the winters, because one of his responsibilities with one of our old tractors was to clear the snow at the Notre Dame plant. And if there was any sort of forecast of snow, then he was there at 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock to make sure that the total parking lot was cleared out, so we had no problem getting into work. So we didn't have to worry about anything. He actually was our first maintenance engineer supervisor when we established the midnight shift. He took on that responsibility. In June '81, he transferred to our new site at Inkster, and he took his tractor with him. And one of the first things he did was, he took instructions very well, he proceeded to tear down one of our walls with the tractor. With the famous Yucca Van Hal, who I understand is now, I don't know if he's building walls or taking down walls in Bahamas these days, but he's in the Bahamas. Vidal is a 5th class engineer, is now earned the title of our maintenance supervisor. He held these positions at also Adelaide, and most recently now at Inkster. Serious individual who really appears as if he doesn't joke around very much. However, he's famous for his great morning greetings when he opens up the church facilities. You can see him through Inkster, at least I can, and most of us can, walking through with his tool pouch, the tool man, walking a million miles an hour. Seems to be on a real mission, urgent. You better get out of the way because he just keeps on moving. He's got a thoughtful side, generous, famous for bringing back all types of gifts for co-workers on his trips and visits to the Philippines. Vidal is married to Elfie, they have 2 children. Congratulations, and thank you, Vidal. All right, I'd like to call upon our own, not official doctor, but we call him Dr. Rick Wanzel and Brian Hesed. Thank you.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport.
The agony
And the agony of defeat.
just a small glitch. We didn't run fast enough. I tripped over Brian's size 12 shoes. Kai couldn't be here tonight, so I had to root around for my secondary partner, Mutt.
Thanks, Jeff. Nice stuff, by the way. I think mine's at the drug thing. So, Rick, I got some great news.
Great news. How great's the news? What kind of news?
Great news. You know how we've been working hard all year round, trying to get people into tennis, trying to get them enthused about the activity, getting out there, playing some tennis. Really important to us, right?
Really important. I've been trying really hard to try to get myself out to tennis. Yeah. Well, you don't need me. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Listen to this. Great news. We have two really keen associates amongst us here tonight who want to launch a new league, a mixed doubles league.
You mean like men and women?
Men and women.
Like guys and girls?
Guys and girls.
Like on the same team?
Same team. Boy, girl, same team.
Who could that be?
Lauren Bolton, Bob Adamson.
Lauren Bob, all right.
There you go, guys.
Oh, that's great. So now, did you guys get that?
We worked hard on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so we gotta get the hook here too, right?
Let's start over.
Okay. Yeah, you do roll that music again.
What are we here for?
Okay, we're here for Tennis Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some hard-working people and hard-playing people in our company. And sometimes they come to work in their shorts and their t-shirts because they play tennis. In this company, we work until midnight and play tennis from 2 until 4 a.m. Some of them just get right to work in the morning. Like Fiona sometimes, right, Fiona? But we have some very special awards tonight for some hard-working tennis players. And we want them to come down right now, and I'm going to call out your names. Karen Kumandan, Selena Colton, Fiona Duncan, Heather Cigi, Kruji, Gideon Lozano, Keith Dionarain, Abby Hosek, Wayne Sopko, Peter Nygaard, and Jason Lee. In that order. Come on down, everybody. Look at this. Look at the physical condition of the team. It's magnificent. They were supposed to be in order. This is great. Oh, what a beautiful looking bunch. That's close enough, right? There you go. Yeah, very good. So very first is the women's.
Tallest on the left, shortest on the right.
Yeah, that's right. Winner, loser, winner. That's how it works. They aren't up here for their intellectual ability. I don't think. Except for Mr. Nygaard. That's it. Try Mark. Women's B runner-up. Now, this is a very quick learner and a very persistent player. Karen Kumandan. Come on up, Karen. There you are. And stand on the ice right there. They're doing great. That's very good. Take your place. Thank you. No, you have to take your place back here where you were. That's good. That's good enough over there. Women's B winner. This is quite amazing. This is Selena Colton. Selena, she actually plays so hard, she smacks herself in the face with a racket. She gets to the point that she hits herself, and then she goes against another and hits herself. So anyway, she won. The winner's B. Come on up. Come on up, Selena.
Thank you to Rick for probably my most embarrassing moment now. But thanks to Kieran for a great match, and it was a lot of fun, and we need more women to come out next year. So sign up, and maybe you'll play me.
All right. A runner-up. This person, in case you haven't ever seen her, has the most noticeable tennis attire. Wrinkled t-shirts, shorts with holes in them, wristbands, knee pads, braces. And interestingly, runner-up, right? Interestingly, apparently lost the match when the ball got lost in her hair. Fiona Duncan. All right, Women's A, winner. This is a classy lady, all the way from Wimbledon. Was almost my neighbor at one time. Heather Krugy.
At least I know I'm maybe the most fashionable tennis player in our company. Yeah, no, we had a great match. Thanks.
Wow, that was moving speech. I'm just breaking out in sweat. Now this guy, I love this guy, you know? I go over there today and I say to Gideon, you know, I say, this is the men's C division. I say, Gideon, you lost. You lost. Last year you were up here and you won. So what's going on? He says, I ran out of gas. Then I asked the guy who beat him, Keith, he goes, oh, it's easy. The guy shows up with a cigarette in his mouth on the court. So, the men's C runner-up, Gideon Lozano. All right. Now, the winner, that's something else, though. Keith DeHonore. This guy, I'm going to find him today, so let's seek him out. Come on up here. And this guy's kind of crouched in the corner, working away. And he's a smooth-talking guy, this guy. Very confident. I said, so what was your secret? He said, I have no secret. I'm just good. So somebody overheard the conversation. And I heard what his secret weapon means. Has everybody seen Curtis Clausen around? That's his coach. Now that's an amazing thing, Curtis Clausen. I don't think Curtis plays tennis, does he? Oh, he did. Oh, he must have fallen down and hurt his knee. I don't know. But anyway, for the smooth talker, come on up here. Keith DeHonore, come on up.
I'd like to thank Wayne and organizing tennis this year. Congratulations to you. Better luck next year, and thank you very much.
All right, men's B. This is my league. These guys are good. What's the name of that guy, Rick? The guy with the little glasses? Little guy? Glasses? Sam Osmond. Yeah, we really worked on this routine hard. Anyway, apparently this guy plotted, schemed, did all kinds of things before playing his final match against Wayne. Still ended up the runner-up. He gets his